All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tearing down Katherine Jack's playbook on how to stop just fumbling around and actually start engineering success with women. This isn't about luck, it's about having a system.
Let's just start with a gut punch from the source material. If you're not treating this like a science, you are wasting so much time. This single idea that real progress comes from data, not from just hoping for the best, is the key to this entire thing.
And look, this isn't just a pile of random tips, it's a structured system. So here's the blueprint of what we're about to build today, piece by piece.
Okay, let's get into it. First thing we're going to do is trash the old approach that doesn't work and build a new, much more effective one from the ground up.
The source is really blunt here. The typical approach for most guys is just scattershotting shit all over the place. You know what that gets you? Frustration. You might stumble into something good by pure chance, but you have no damn clue why it worked, so you can't repeat it. It's not a choice, it's a lottery ticket.
So the solution is simple. Stop being an amateur and start being an engineer. Now, what does that mean? It means you adopt a system, use deliberate practice, you analyze what happens, you experiment. This isn't just some theory, it's the exact mindset the source used to go from getting zero results to consistent success.
Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? Well, before you can even think about executing, you need a solid foundation. And that foundation rests on two core principles.
First up, clarity. You have to know exactly what your goal is. Not some fantasy you read online, not what some guru tells you to want, your goal. Anything else is what the source calls an arbitrary. It's just a useless, time-wasting step that gets in your way.
And check out the difference here. A guru's goal? It's all this vague, mystical crap like fame or achieving a mythical rapport state. I mean, what does that even mean? Your goal needs to be concrete, something you can actually measure. Like, in any city, after a couple of nights out, I want to have several women genuinely interested in me. See? Once you have that, you can just ruthlessly cut out all the other noise. If a piece of advice doesn't get you closer to that specific goal, you toss it. Simple.
Next, you build momentum with sheer consistency. You develop a rhythm. Look, getting really good at anything, the gym, an instrument, it means you have to go a little unbalanced for a while. You have to dedicate real, scheduled time to it, non-negotiable. And you show up even when you really don't feel like it, because your brain learns best through that constant repetition.
All right, now we get to the real heart of the engineering mindset. This is where it all clicks. You cannot fix what you do not measure. Period. It's time to get serious about your data. I love how the source puts this. Your memory is a lying bastard. That's it. You think you remember how that conversation went down. You don't. Not accurately enough to learn anything from it. You have to write detailed field reports after every single time you go out. No exceptions.
So these reports, they're your lab notes. They're your raw data. They take all the chaos of a social environment and they stabilize the variables so you can actually see what's going on. This is how you figure out what you said that actually worked versus what made her eyes just glaze over. And once you have that data from your reports, you can do what's called a sticking point analysis. You find the single biggest bottleneck holding you back. Most guys just guess at the problem, and you know what? They're almost always wrong. They're busy trying to fix their closing when the real problem happened way, way earlier.
Yeah, think of it like an assembly line. You have the open, you hook them into a conversation, you build a time bridge for a future meetup, you go on the date, and then success! Your field reports are going to show you exactly where the parts are falling off the line. So let's run the numbers from a hypothetical night.
Okay, so your reports show you did 20 opens. Not bad. That's solid work right there.
Out of those 20, you hooked 12. You got him into a real conversation. Hey, that's a pretty good conversion rate. Still looking good.
But then you try to get a time bridge, lock in a date or get a number, and you only got one. Boom, right there. The bottleneck just screamed at you from the page.
So you see, your problem isn't closing. It's not what happens on the date. It's not even your opener. Your sticking point is whatever the hell is happening in that conversation right before you ask to see her again. And that means all your energy, all your practice needs to be laser focused on fixing that one specific thing.
Okay, analysis done. You know your bottleneck. Now it's time to actually execute, but with a completely new mindset.
This one is huge, man. You have to give yourself permission. Permission to go for it, permission to fail, permission to get shot down. You have to free yourself from that fear of judgment. The opinions of the other people in the bar, They're spectators. They don't count. Her opinion matters for this one interaction, but it doesn't get to define your entire life.
The source has this killer reframe for rejection. Just ask yourself this. When she's 90 years old, is she going to remember this 5-minute conversation? No way. When you're 90, are you going to remember it? Of course not. It's just a data point. It is not a life sentence. She will forget about it by tomorrow, so why are you still holding on to it? And finally, this is where it all comes together. You combine a bias for action with smart, targeted experimentation. You're not just going out to practice anymore. That's for amateurs. You are running controlled, scientific tests on your specific sticking point. You create little if-then experiments, run them 20 or 30 times, look at the data, and then you adopt what works and you throw out what doesn't, systematically.
So, what's the point of all this? Where does this entire system lead? Let's bring it all home. Look, the ultimate goal here isn't to just copy-paste someone else's lines. The goal is to use this framework, this engineering mindset, to analyze your own results, build your own skills, and become your own damn guru. So, you've seen the playbook. The real question is, what's the one arbitrary, the one useless thing you're going to cut out of your approach, starting tonight?